What's the best piece of advice you've ever received or that someone's given you?
Oh, the best piece of advice. It would probably be actually my grandfather who said to me in broken English that life is about relationships and you always build them up and you never tear them down. I was a young boy on the steps of our apartment building in Chicago, and I remember him saying those to me. And to this day, I hear that voice reminding me of that.
Beautiful. That's beautiful. And I haven't heard it. I love it.
So wherever Pop is, I hope he looks down and knows that I took that advice to heart and I used it.
Welcome to Beach Park Beyond the Bell, the podcast where we connect with the incredible people in our district and share their stories that make our culture unique. I have anxiously been awaiting my opportunity to interview today's guest. He and I met while teaching summer school at Beach Park Middle School in 2009. That's roughly 17 years ago. And our journey has been pretty profound. We continue to grow apart and come back together. And it's been great. So you certainly wouldn't tell by looking at him that we met 17 years ago. This guest is optimistic. He is filled with good energy. He is academically brilliant, and he is totally unpredictable. It's with respect and admiration that I introduce to you, Stephen Bigden-Russell. What is up, Stephen?
Thank you for that great introduction. That was pretty exciting. I am just excited to be here and visit. I'm honored that you asked me to do this. I think this is such a great initiative for the school district to get to know one another because I love learning about the people we share a lot of time with every day. So that's what's new. This is new. This is exciting. This is a whole new place for us.
Yeah. I've been waiting to get a hold of you to spend some time with me like this, so I'm grateful. I would love it if you would start by just sharing with our audience just your current position. What is it that you're currently doing for the district, in what capacity?
Well, I am currently the data coordinator, which was an unexpected move, but it was actually a gift for me. I do all sorts of things like the state reporting, the compliance reporting. I do software integration. I do a lot with the background system management, and I'm part of a really great team of people that comes together to do a lot of the behind the scenes technical things that people just don't even realize that are going on until they actually stop working, to be honest with you. But it's a really fun job. Every single day is different. So that's kind of where I'm at.
I get to see you every day, which is amazing. You also work in all the buildings. I often hear you troubleshooting with staff members, and I feel like maybe you spend some time with administrative assistants because they kind of are like the front hub of the buildings, and they're doing a lot in Power School. Am I accurate in that? Like, are those conversations happening? Is it all related to Power School?
It's related to actually all of it. I try to be the connector between the different buildings through the administrative because they're the real head of a school because they run that front office to make things smooth for all the parents, all the kids, the support staff, the administrator themselves. So they need to know what other buildings are doing and what our district is doing to be able to make sure that everything is smooth. So I do that, and I do a lot of parent support and a lot of troubleshooting. I feel blessed and honored that people have the trust and confidence in me to reach out to me to ask for things that may not be about Power School. They could just be about pieces of software. They could be about Google. They could be about their devices. And so, yeah, I do spend a lot of time doing that too.
Is there a specific initiative your department's currently focused on right now that you guys are working on this school year? Any initiatives you want to share with the district since we got you?
Well, we are working really hard to streamline communication for our entire learning community through things like we use Class Dojo, which is going to transition to something called My Power Hub, which is something that is a direct creation of Power School itself, the company, and it's an extension for parents where they can see all of the information and buildings can post things. So there's like something that looks like a social media feed.
Okay.
It's secure, people can't comment on it, but it does give a way to do that. There's instant messaging between like teachers and parents. We're working really hard on that. And another one that we're going to be doing is Safe Arrival. And I don't want to give too much away, but it's a great program for parents to understand their child's attendance and where they're at in terms of if, they're late for class, especially when you're a middle school or something like that. But it's a really great function. So yeah, those are some of the things that I know I'm personally working on.
That looks like a peek behind the curtain, right?
It is. I feel sometimes like the wizard in the Wizard of Oz.
You are a wizard. Good. I'm glad you feel that way. Okay, so that's the job. But here's the guts. This is all about Stephen Bigden-Russell. This is about your connection with our community here, with our students, our staff, our community, our parents outside the building. It's my understanding that education wasn't your first career. Is that correct?
That is correct. I actually worked for a major electronics company for 6 years. I was a Golden Apple Scholar in high school and was picked to go into an education program, but my heart really wasn't in it. I was afraid. Some of my clinicals up front didn't go very well, meaning that I didn't like what I saw, and I didn't think I wanted to do it. So I jumped the bandwagon and went to a corporate and made a change. And I ended up coming back full circle to education, which is, I don't know if it's the universe telling me something, but this is my 25th year. So maybe the universe was telling me something.
25 years, all in Beach Park.
All in Beach Park here. I still can't believe it because
All right.
I don't feel like I'm older than 27 years old. So I don't know how it's been 25 years.
So when did you realize that education was going to be your calling then? What was the moment that led you to Beach Park District 3?
Well, it was interesting because as the company started to downsize, I had the option of taking a buyout package, and we did some personal family soul searching, and we decided we wanted to grow our family and have children, and that's what we ended up doing. And really, I kind of wanted to be a very present and active parent. I wanted to understand education better than I did through just academic coursework in college. And I decided, you know what, this would be a perfect way for me to be connected to kids, to know what's current with kids, is to really go into something that I thought at first I didn't want to do. And so I decided to sub, actually. I wanted to test the waters first, and I came to Beach Park to sub, and the principal looked at me. She came and sat me down and asked me why I wasn't teaching full time, and she said I was a natural. And I kind of looked perplexed at her, and I just kept on subbing for a while, and then she wrote me a beautiful card that I have to this day. And she insisted I be on staff at Beach Park full time, and that's how it kind of came back.
Wow. All these years we've known each other, Stephen, and I'm finding out that you started as a substitute teacher. The interesting connection there is that that's exactly how I got into education. I subbed in our district for 2 years as a long-term sub and had a director say, "Hey, you're doing a good job. Why is it that you're not in education?" So it's wonderful to hear that we have leadership that sees something in the people that inspires them to literally change careers and get into education. I love that you were really just looking to have active research in the
Yes,
classroom as a parent, and it led you to this.
it
That's
really did.
phenomenal.
It is, and it worked out just perfectly. And the path, the journey I've been able to take because of that moment in my life has done nothing but brought me reward. I'm so glad that she reached out the way she did, and she actually worked to develop me. She worked to develop all her staff. It wasn't me personally, but things that she saw in me that I was good at, like data and data analysis. That was something she really took me under her wing, and so I appreciative of that.
If you had to boil down what you love most about working in education, and I know you're not teaching in the classroom right now, but if there's a single word or a phrase, what would it be about education that you love the most?
Well, it's funny because even though my title is data coordinator, I still, in a lot of ways, really am a teacher because part of my troubleshooting time is really teaching my end users what they need to do and what they need to know. So and that's the part is sharing and imparting knowledge of things that I know, helping build other people up, whether it's a child or whether it's adult. Those are the things that really keep me here and make me really love what I do.
How long did you work in the classroom?
Let's see. So I've done all sorts of different levels in classrooms. I think going back, I think I taught, was it for 18 years? I was in a classroom teacher from every grade from kindergarten up through fifth grade. I taught both RTI sections and gifted sections. I taught instructional technology, which I really loved. That was my cup of tea for sure. And then I served as an instructional coach, and then I had the opportunity to move into this role, which I promise you, it was never on my radar. But I can't think of a better fit for how I am because every day is like a puzzle and a mystery to be solved, and this lends itself to that really.
Love to dig into that just for a second here. The transition between going from the classroom to the district office, I didn't have it on my radar either. I was in the buildings, teaching and then administration, and opportunity arises and the door opens and you walk through it. I know we have people in our district, we have staff in our district who are going from their undergraduate degree to a graduate degree in leadership. They're thinking about what's the next step going to be, what's 5 years going to be. What were you feeling when the opportunity to go to the district office from a teaching position? Well, you went from teaching to instructional coach. I would love to know what the feeling was there, but then from an instructional coach to the district office, what were you thinking about during those transitions that might inspire our staff to continue to push forward and prepare, not necessarily take, but prepare?
It's interesting, okay, because I honestly, my initial feeling was I was afraid. I was afraid to make a change because I was a very good teacher, and I knew that I was solid and I was confident. I was practiced. I could do it probably in my sleep and do it well. And I was venturing into something I didn't know how to do. I didn't know if teaching and coaching adults was the same thing as teaching children. The same thing with data. I didn't know what it would be. And so something that I want to impart to people to hope to inspire them is to not be afraid and to really take that leap of faith, and really give something and you try and be open to those experiences, because that was one of the things. If you're closed off to it, I don't think you really have the benefit of being open and letting kind of things flow naturally like they would.
It's awesome. I think it's really good for our audience to hear. Thanks for being vulnerable and sharing that. It's hard to share what we're afraid of, but it's the fear that I think leads us to some of our greatest success, right? It's the failure piece.
It is. And I look back and now and I'm just like, oh God, I was so silly and, crazy for being that afraid, because I really had no reason to be afraid because it all sort of fell into place.
I want to ask you if you'd share a recent interaction or a moment with a staff member where you felt reminded of the positive impact or the role that you have right now with the people that we work with.
Well, yeah, actually, yesterday is a perfect incident. And this is somebody that I really got to know more closely as I moved into this district role. And I will say that we weren't very close. We worked together well, but we weren't close. And she has become I'll say maybe a silent mentor to me, an unintentional mentor that has imparted a lot of really high quality leadership information, ideas, practices for me. And we have become close because of this. And she's become a friend. And she shared with me that she had some things that she wanted to do in her programming, which was to make things better for her students through additional programming. And I had a contact that I could introduce her. And so I set up a meeting for us yesterday. And we went and worked together with some of these people to see what things we can bring to starting at this one building and eventually to roll out to all the buildings, of course. And it just was really celebratory that somebody that I wasn't very close with up front, I've developed a really positive relationship with, and she has developed and nurtured this relationship and information with me, has helped me grow personally and professionally. And now the best part, the best feeling of all of it is that we are going to be doing some really positive things for kids and their families. That was the part that really stuck with me yesterday, was that, like, by us just having two sidebar conversations, we were like, hey, what about this? What about this? Well, I know these people, I can set them up. And we did that. And so now we are developing a whole plan of how we're going to roll this out. And it made me feel so good to know that I got to be just a small part of that. And I'm going to be helping those people.
Do you want to give her a shout out?
I do want to give her a shout out to Lizette Brito Lashowski, who has just become such a dear friend over these last few years and has really done a lot to help me. And I just appreciate that. And I hope that our trip yesterday helps benefit you, the staff at the building you're starting with, and all of the kids and the families that it's going to affect. I'm so excited to be collaborating with you on that, truly.
That's awesome. What's a core philosophy that guides the way that you approach your job every day?
Don't panic. And I say that as somebody who panics, just so everyone is clear. We're not brain surgeons or heart surgeons. And as long as our priority is keeping children safe first, everything underneath that is not a catastrophe. And again, I think people need to be open to, and this is for myself, to new experiences, new ideas, new practices, and know that you don't have to be filled with panic, because be open to the people around you who care about you, to be able to collaborate with them and sometimes lean on their shoulder when things are hard. Feel that first feeling and then let it go, and then let the real positive light and good feeling come in and take that place.
Beautiful. Perfectly articulated. Beach Park District 3 prides itself on a supportive culture. In your own words, what's the best part of being on a team in Beach Park District 3?
Well, we are a team, and I've watched an evolution over 25 years, to be totally honest. We were kind of worked in silos in the very beginning. You'd have one or two people that you'd work closely with, but Other than that, you were kind of closed off, where now we've become much more collaborative through like PLCs and team meetings. And so you're sharing resources, you're sharing responsibilities, you're sharing burdens, you're sharing joys. And that's what makes the difference. That's what keeps people engaged and motivated, and keeps people happy, really, and appreciative of what they have in this moment right now.
When you compare our district to others, not that you and I come from the same place, 19 years in the district, you got 25. I haven't worked in another district, but we've had experiences with other districts many times, especially in the roles that we play right now. What's a single factor that makes you continue to choose to stay here with us and grow your career in Beach Park District 3?
Well, it's the people I see every single day. So many of them just bring me joy. So many of them reach back and share gratitude and share connection. And being here so long, I joke that I'm an institution now. It's the community itself. It's the families. They reach back and share their joys, their concerns, their happiness, their sadness, things that they think we need to improve as a district. They have a comfort level in me because I've been here so long that they're like, hey, can you, I'll get phone calls. Can you send this up the chain? Can you share this with somebody who's, will listen to this? And I think that's a huge factor, because if you work at a place, and I'm originally from Chicago, if you work in a big place like that, or even smaller suburbs outside of Chicago, you don't always have that opportunity to have that level of connection, which is, I think it's those relationships that I think that are important.
If you were talking to a professional outside of our district, be it a teacher, someone, an administrator, and that's considering our district, what's one thing that you would tell them about Beach Park, or
I think
why they should come? Why would you want to be a part of a family here?
I think it's honestly because of the connection of the people, the willingness, the family mentality is. And one of the things that people often confuse when we say family mentality is there can be healthy conflict within families, and then you work towards solution and resolution. Those things are okay. Families have conflict, and you work through solutions and resolutions. Uh, I'm part of a group that a former director of a local school district created after his retirement. And so I connect with all over Lake County and McHenry County and Cook County. And I can tell you for sure that they share things with me that they don't roll the way that they roll here. They don't share in the joys of the collaboration, the family mentality, the teamwork, and things like that.
Okay. Yeah, that's been my experience. It's a very unique district to work in. I'm grateful. And I don't know if it's because of the size. I don't know if it's four elementaries and a middle school. I don't know if it's the leadership. I think it's just maybe
I think it's the people. I
it's the
really
people.
do. I think
It's
it's the
definitely
people.
the people. Yeah. It's like the alchemy of all those things coming together. And the people are just great. Like, everyone's great. There's people I don't know that I say hello to and then engage in conversation. There's teams that I don't know about that I hear that all the great work they're doing. There's so many people taking initiatives outside of their role to keep the machine moving and connect the cogs. And it's like thankless work. It seems like it's thankless. We're all so grateful. Everyone's grateful, and the teams are all grateful for each other. The administration's grateful. The district office administration's grateful. I know our families are grateful. I've talked to so many parents. It's just so unique. And I really would love that for every single district. And I know that that doesn't exist everywhere. And I know some of that is size. It's just, they're so big. It's hard to find the real connection outside of like your building.
Well, and I will say this, as time went on, we didn't know really other people in other buildings, at least the circle that I had, because again, we were more siloed. And as my career has evolved, and I've noticed that there are things, one of the great things, and is our superintendent right now, who was the curriculum director at the time, who did a really fantastic job of creating teams, grade level teams, help writing the framework for curriculum, but it was across all buildings. So that way people got to know everybody else who's teaching the same thing they are across the whole district. That was a key point for so many things. I mean, I could do 20 minutes just about that, just so you
Yeah.
know. Because like we learned how other people were teaching things just in that way, but also things that were not needed and things that we needed to improve that ended up in this framework. And then you got the human factor, and you were able to build critical mass because you got to know all of these teams. And sometimes they were horizontal and sometimes they were vertical, and it was fantastic. And I don't know if that always happens everywhere. I want to say that it doesn't.
Yeah.
Because when I've reached out to people and I've talked with people, they don't share in that experience. That was huge. And then moving into the district office, I get to see everybody at a whole different vantage point because I'm, the person who's responsible for setting up the classes and, in the system with not necessarily scheduling anymore, but setting them up and, the grade book and all of that sort of thing. And I support them technically, but I get to interact with all of these people across the district. And for me, the beauty is I have so many people willing to step up. And just as we have new initiatives, people that I really didn't even know up front that have been here like 19 years, 15 years, whatever. I didn't know them well, but they are so willing to help me test things and pilot things. And I see them in such a different way. Instead of just from a distance away, I see them up close and personal, and what a positive way. Somebody I think of all the time is like Lori Squires at Newport, Dylan Shore at Newport, Kelsey Schroeder. These are Kenneth Murphy. Some of these people, just off the top of my head, I know I'm forgetting a bunch, but they're
Yeah.
always willing to jump in and test some of the things that we want to do, because change can be scary. Let's be real, change can be scary, but they're willing to really be part of a family and help out when help is needed.
Let me ask you a question that we didn't talk about, but it kind of strikes me just with everything that you said. I'm thinking about our first, second, and third year teachers, and I'm thinking about what the first, second, and third year was like for me. And it's hard work. It's like it can be soul crushing, and I've had moments where I mean, all the good always outweighs the bad, but the tough stuff can be pretty tough, but it's absolutely worth it. So my message would be to first, second, third year teacher: when the going gets tough, you're going to make it through it. And it continues to get better. And I always kind of felt like after my third year, I really got my stride, and systems were in place, and I started to feel comfortable in the classroom, and I was working as a team, and I was working with people, and I was building community. What would your advice be to a first through third year teacher who maybe is struggling or has some doubts about, maybe some imposter syndrome about how good they actually are? Because I know they're great. It's hard to get into the classroom, and once you're here, the work is harder than it took to get here.
I think, don't panic, because it's going to be okay. At the end, you need to hang on. You're going to see my first 3 years. They were hard years, because I joke that everything they taught me in college was great academically, but none of it was almost applicable to daily practice. It was really more of a learning how to blend all of the things that you learned until you make your own strides. So I actually tell them they're going from a situation that's typically chaos into a whole atmosphere of clarity. But they have to be patient to know that that's going to take some time to happen. And they're just going to have to get in their own stride, to believe in themselves and not panic. And most importantly, reach out to people who care about you, and ask for help. Don't be afraid, because we don't come equipped with all the answers, for sure. Even though this is my 5th year in this role, I still reach out to other people who do this job with Power School, because I don't know all the answers. And I'm going to tell you, I've met some amazing, beautiful people who have just really, whether it's internally into the district or it's in some of our neighboring districts. So that's the same thing for a new year teacher. That's what I'm saying is, believe in those people, count on them.
Yeah, I think that's a good answer. You can literally ask for help from anybody in this district. Don't worry about what the perception of your question is, and the value of it. If you have a question and you need assistance, reach out. Reach out to your team, reach out to your administrator, you can call me. I've been around a long time. You could call Steven. I can guarantee you that. We're always willing to help. We only want the best for everyone that works here. And the objective is to build our family, support them, and retain them to have the same longevity we've had. So switching,
Absolutely.
right?
No, I
No.
was just going to say, a really good example for me, I think of that was somebody who's probably one of the strongest literacy ELA teachers I had ever met in my life. And she's since retired many years ago, was Sharon Whitmer. And I did not have the confidence that she had about teaching ELA. And so I sat her down, I closed her door, and I told her I was embarrassed that I knew she was stronger than me in teaching ELA. And I really wanted some guidance. And she came back the very next day with a whole bunch of books and sat with me. And I want to say it was in the very beginning. It was a year or two of her mentoring me. And I ended up a super strong ELA teacher because of her. And I just had to have the confidence to ask that question, ask her for help and say, hey, I know what you're doing is working. I know what I'm doing is not working as well as what you're doing. Can you help me? And she did. She really did.
Yeah, that's being vulnerable and that's having humility. I've done that through every role I've been fortunate enough to have in the district. Maybe two of the most key characteristic traits are having humility and being vulnerable.
And it's a little scary to do that. Let's be real. It is
100% it
scary.
is. Those are hard ones. I mean,
But
those are
those are
the
the,
hardest ones
they
too, because
are.
you're putting yourself out there, but it's okay. And it certainly alleviates the difference by not doing it, right?
And that's where we have our, I think that's where we have our biggest push forwards, when we are vulnerable and allow people to come in. And, that's why I think in terms of instructional coaching, people are afraid, that, oh, they're going to get judged or this and that. No, open yourself up to that. Be willing to hear something different. Be willing to say that, okay, I really am not strong in these, but I am strong at these. And I'm willing to help somebody else with these things that I'm strong in.
All right. Yeah, agreed. All right, we're gonna get into some rapid fire fun questions. These are just about you.
Okay.
All right. If you were working in the field of education, what was going to be your dream job?
Gosh, a few different things. If I was not in education, I actually wanted to be in theater or in film. I love drama, drama, drama. I know I love that sort of production and that sort of things. That's why when you asked me to do this, I also considered broadcast journalism, which it was close to that, because I love stuff like this. I love cameras. I love filming. I love sharing information. I love sharing performances. So that probably would have been my dream if I had not been here.
All right, I can see that in you. What do you use for an energy boost to get through a long day?
I actually probably drink more coffee than I should. But what I try to do to get the energy boost now, and is probably about been the last year, is I actually get up from my desk and I walk and I go visit one of our colleagues and just go and say hi and ask if they need anything and do that, because I feel like that movement helps get me going. And, I went to Catholic schooling for 13 years, and I had a nun that would tell us, if we said, no matter what we said, she would say, pray and do jumping jacks. Why? I don't know, jumping jacks. So to this day, so I laugh about that because now I tell that as a joke to other people. But, I get up and I get movement and I go visit somebody. Again, that relationship, that connection helps energize me.
Anything you're currently binge watching?
Binge watching, I just started a new show on Netflix called Gentleman. I love binge watching because I like getting all the episode done at once. But this time of year, I am such a sucker for Christmas shows, anything holiday, anything Christmassy. I love the tinsel, the garland, the lights. The more, the better, the Christmas tree.
Is your go-to Christmas show that you watch every year? Is there something that I'm going to watch it every year? I know it.
Actually, Polar Express, because that came out just a little bit before my oldest daughter was born. And the message in that, the theme is believe. And I use that theme, that came out in 2004, right? And I use that theme of believe every single day of my life since I saw that movie.
Love
True
that.
story. I buy anything. So if you ever see anything, Gabe, anything that says believe at the holiday times, whether it's a pillow or it's a
Okay.
sign or whatever, buy it for me because I actually collect it.
Done. I put a pin in it.
There you go.
What's a talent or hobby that you have outside of Beach Park District 3 that might surprise people that are listening?
A talent or hobby. I don't know if they would be surprised, but I love plants. I love gardening. I actually love painting. I'm a very good abstract painter. I don't share that with everybody because I'm very self-conscious. I actually am an art minor, and I had a teacher that told me that I wasn't as talented as the other students. And that's something that stuck with me. And so I practiced through the years, and I like to do it. I love to cook. I'm a very good cook. I love to create recipes, and I love to share those recipes with people.
Okay.
So
Well,
yes,
if anybody wants a recipe, I think you should be emailing Stephen Bigden-Russell.
I totally am willing to share.
All right. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received or that someone's given you?
Oh, the best piece of advice. It would probably be actually my grandfather, who said to me in broken English that life is about relationships and you always build them up and you never tear them down. I was a young boy on the steps of our apartment building in Chicago, and I remember him saying those to me. And to this day, I hear that voice reminding me of that.
Beautiful. That's beautiful. And I haven't heard it. I love it.
So wherever Pop is, I hope he looks down and knows that I took that advice to heart and I used it.
What's the best concert you've ever been to?
Gosh, I've been to so many of them, but do you know the ones that I cherish the most were for my daughters, to be honest with you. Uh, they
They
go
answer.
to, they do. I loved them. My daughters go to a school district that is renowned for its fine arts program all over the state. And I looked forward to it. So this year it was a little bit different for me because they've all since graduated and we don't have one to go to. And I kind of am feeling a little bit left out about it because I love going to those, especially the Christmas one, because it was all the Christmas jams that I love to hear.
That's a great answer. Wow. I wasn't expecting that, but it makes perfect sense. Well, you've been around the block around here. You're from the neighborhood a little bit. What would be your favorite spot to eat in Beach Park?
My favorite spot to eat. Well, it actually since has closed down and become something else. And I'll get the name wrong. It's a Colombian/Mexican restaurant right here at the corner. It
Yeah,
used to
used to
be
be Bill's.
Bill's, right.
Woo!
Their guacamole is heavenly. Their al pastor tacos are amazing. It's a really fun place to eat. That's usually my go-to.
Okay, that's awesome. Well, this has been great. Anything else you want to add, Stephen?
I think we're good. I hope that everybody who sees this will share this with people they know on social media. And I want everyone to please do me a favor, like this for me, okay? Because I totally want, to get the most likes out of anybody you do this with, okay?
That's a good plug. Thank you for that. Well, that was wonderful. I thank you so much for sharing your passion and your insights with us and our community, our listeners. It's clear that you're obviously committed to Beach Park District 3, 25 years, and you're not even done yet. You're making a huge difference. You've played so many roles. Steven's a great resource for you. If anyone has a question, you can always call me. You can definitely call Steven. We're going to pick up the phone. We're going to answer those questions for you. We want you to be as successful as possible. You can find Mr. Bigden-Russell working at the district office as a district data coordinator. You're definitely going to see him walking around your hallways. So after this, you don't know him, say hello to him. I think one of the pieces of advice I had heard recently was just say hello to people. So I would encourage you, when you see us, say hello to Steven. If you're a dedicated professional looking to join a truly supportive and engaging district like Beach Park District 3, please visit our career page at bpd3.org. We would love to have you join our Beach Park family. It's an amazing place to work. If you're currently working in Beach Park District 3, I want to extend my sincere gratitude to you for your tireless work that you do each and every single day to make Beach Park District 3 my home, our home, the home for our students, our staff, our community, and our parents. I'm so grateful for you. Your work does not go unnoticed. From the district office down to your building administrator to the teammate that you have across the hallway. We're collectively so grateful for you. And I want to thank you so much for doing all the things that you do every single day. I always love to say thank you for being you. I want to encourage our audience to like and subscribe to our channels. We're on YouTube, Apple, Spotify. You can follow us on all the social media platforms. And please feel free to comment on the videos with suggestions that you feel will help to grow the channel, engage our audience, and add valuable content. I'm open to all suggestions. Thank you for tuning in to Beach Park District 3 Beyond the Bell. Have a wonderful day.
It was awesome.